I applied to surrogacy last year in March with Road to Baby. I got matched with intended parents, but the woman that I was matched with her husband, they were trying to have kids for 5 years.
Oh.
And then medically, they found out that they couldn't have children, that she had lupus surrounding her uterus. So then they chose surrogacy. Immediately, when I heard her story, I was connected. I was like, I want to be the bridge to carry this child for you. Please, how can we do this? And she felt the same connection too. So we matched. End of September, beginning of October, we started medications. I really did my homework, really tried to learn what that looked like for me when it came to protecting my body and getting myself ready. And then November comes and it didn't stick.
Hi and welcome.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
You too. I'm so glad we were able to make this work. And I
Yes.
just want to say thank you so much for being here and being open to do this. It's such a gift. And you just have the biggest heart. I mean, like wow, I was reading what you're preparing for, and we'll dive into that and just was very, very touched. So thank you for all of it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I know that normally you probably get calls and requests, women that are like looking to understand fertility in a different point of view. But when I came across your page and I came across your information, I was like, maybe this could work for me and this could be a space where I can learn and understand. And to the point where I can help advocate for other women learn and understand when it comes to when embryo fails or their experience in becoming a surrogate as well.
100%. I mean, I was really excited. I was really excited because this goes in hand with any type of frozen embryo transfer, surrogacy, failed implantation, all those things. So just really grateful for you. So thank you.
Thank
So
you.
first of all, normally this would be confidential, but you're so generous in sharing so that other people can learn from you. So thank you for that. But so let's go ahead and dive in and tell me a little bit about what's going on. Of course, I already read everything and I have an idea, but I want to just hear from you and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, for sure. So I went and applied to surrogacy last year in March with Road to Baby. Shout out to them because I am now employed with them, which they are awesome. And
Awesome. No.
yes, I applied in end of February. Around March, I got matched with intended parents. Not to share too much information, but the woman that I was matched with her husband, they were trying to have kids for 5 years.
Oh.
And then medically, they found out that they couldn't have children, that she had some type of like lupus surrounding her uterus. So then they chose surrogacy. Immediately, when I heard her story, I was connected. I was like, I want to be the bridge to carry this child for you. Please, how can we do this? And she felt the same connection too. So we matched. It was a mutual match. Long story short, but we ended up doing all the process. We did medical clearance, then we did legal contracts, and then came to do medications. Last year around the fall, end of September, beginning of October, we started medications. They put me on progesterone, they put me on estrus, ganirelix, which were medications just to get my body ready for embryo implantation and to be able to carry that embryo and have it grow.
Right. 100%.
But aside from that, I really did my homework. I am really big with nutrition. I really tried to learn what that looked like for me when it came to protecting my body and getting myself ready. So I focused on nutrition, making sure I didn't have inflammation in my body, just vitamins that were able to help me, making sure that I was doing my homework because it's different when you get word from a clinic on what to do and then you do your own research and you're like, wait, there's so much more I could have done or I can do. So I tried my best to do everything A through Z, like everything, every juice, every tincture, every mix that they tell you to drink before embryo transfer. I was like, let's do it. I'm going to act like this is me personally transferring something that I want to work. And then November comes and embryo transfer did not work. And it didn't stick. So yeah, so that's how that ended. And I didn't understand why. They never told me why the embryo never stuck.
Hmm.
And I did get some medical records to try to see on the back end what was being said in these records. And we transferred it to a new clinic because I took a month off. I just rested, got myself right. And then I matched with another person that he went through embryo transfer that failed. And I connected with his story. And his clinic wants to know why the embryo failed. And we cannot get an answer. The clinic does not want to release it.
There's not necessarily a specific answer. I mean, sometimes things are just out of your control, right? So, but that being said, there are things that you can do to try to increase the chances. But sometimes, I mean, it's not, I think there's a misconception that it's going to be 100% guaranteed, right? And it's really, we can't. That's kind of out of our hands and up to God, right? The universe
Right.
or whatever is happening in that moment. So it doesn't necessarily mean that something was wrong. It just means that, you know, it didn't work.
Mm. It wasn't the right timing.
It wasn't the right timing. But in that being said, I really love that you're proactive because there are still things, and maybe we can find some things that you can do, we can tap into to increase your chances and just continuing to be ready and supported. So it sounds like you've done a lot of things. So share with me what's worked so far for you. I mean, I know that like is for getting your health ready because that's really the measurement we're going to look at. We're looking at how healthy you are and that type of thing. So tell me what you've done so far. You said you're really into nutrition. Tell me about that.
Yes, I was looking up recipes that were anti-inflammatory, making sure I was drinking a lot of prune juice, a lot of prune juice, and what was the other juice? Ugh, I can't think of it right now. It's also a juice that is the same color as prune juice. And they tell
Like
you to drink it before.
pomegranate?
Yes, pomegranate juice. A lot of pomegranate juice, pineapple juice. I was juicing a lot, things with ginger, oranges, celery, apple, just a lot of juicing to help prepare my body, staying away from any carbs that were unhealthy, any fatty foods, unhealthy fried food, just trying to really get my body right. I was working out 2 to 3 times a week, making sure that I was having that blood flow in my body. I really wanted to do acupuncture. The intended parents were going to help me to do acupuncture, but I never got a chance to because the timing of the embryo transfer was so quick. Like, once they find out that your uterus is ready and it's thick for transfer, they're like, okay, you're leaving in 3 days. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Um,
Yeah,
so I didn't have as much time to do acupuncture.
acupuncture.
But I
Right.
hear that it does help with blood flow and it does help with embryo transfer. So that is something I definitely want to do. And I recommend every woman that wants to do embryo transfer because the success rates are amazing.
They're definitely, and that's as a profession, I'm an acupuncturist, Chinese medical physician, and then by trade, I'm a fertility life coach. So yes, acupuncture is amazing for so many different reasons. So definitely want to include that. So tell me, I'm just really curious to know. So you've been doing a lot. You thought that this juicing was going to be really helpful. You
Mhm.
avoided fried foods, try to eat whole foods then. Is that
Yes.
you exercise to try to get blood flow. You seem
Mhm.
like you have a good energy. You said what made you decide to do prune juice, pomegranate juice, pineapple juice? Were you drinking all that in one day? How many days were you
No,
doing that?
I had a diet that I was following to just avoid inflammation in my body. And
Can we
from my
break that
experience,
can we break
I
that down? I want to know
yeah,
what that is. Yeah.
yeah, I looked up how to not have so much bad side effects from these injections. And one of the things was making sure you have a clean gut and clean bacteria. So when I was looking at these whole foods, oh, a hummingbird, how beautiful. It's a hummingbird just flying by my window casually. I'll take it as a sign. When I was looking up ways to make sure that my body was good without having any inflammation, it was more so like making sure your gut is good, the probiotic in your body is in a position where it won't give you bad side effects to these injections. From my research, what I was looking for, that a lot of women get really bad side effects from the progesterone shot and the estrus medication. Like they get bloated, they throw up, they get all the pregnancy symptoms as if you were pregnant, or sometimes 10 times worse. Because their gut, it can potentially link to that. By all means, I'm not a professional. It was just from my research that I looked these things up, and I found that making sure my gut was clean and I had inflammation food, whole foods, like I was going to
So
be okay.
Maggie, I want to know if you can break it down. Like, what were you eating so that we,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for breakfast, I'll have a big meal. I'll have, I wasn't doing as much dairy either because I didn't want to just get inflamed with these things. But I was having like kimchi for breakfast with avocado and sourdough bread, and making sure that I had enough that I was full with a juice that was either celery or apples, or pineapple and oranges, a ginger shot. I was making sure that I had a full whole food breakfast that would give me, some energy throughout the day since I work at home, making sure that I was well energized. I wasn't drinking coffee as much either. I am Hispanic. I love my coffee. Like it's 11 o'clock, this is my second cup. But,
Uh-oh.
when you're focusing on cleaning your gut and eating whole foods, sometimes coffee is not helpful, to each his own. But I do use, oat milk or whatever the case may be, sometimes non-dairy creamer. But at the end of the day, I was like, let me have a herbal tea instead, caffeine free. Let me make
Right.
sure that I am full by the time that, 8 a.m., I'm having a whole breakfast that in 2 hours, I'll then have a snack that is whole as well. Make sure I was eating almonds, Brazilian nuts, making sure I was eating certain snacks that was recommended when you're trying to do embryo transfer. I was doing
What would
all
you
this
have?
research.
What would you have for lunch?
For lunch, I'll have a sandwich with sourdough bread as well, or I'll do something heavier like sweet potato with salmon, or sweet potato with ground turkey. Sweet potato was like my go-to. Like even now, because I was eating so clean, I don't even want carbs like that. I feel like my body was getting used to
Uh-huh.
making sure that I was in a good place. And
How often
I
would
kind
you how often would you eat fish, Maggie? And how much would you eat red meat?
I was eating red meat a lot. I was eating red meat a lot.
Okay.
Yes. So
Great.
if it wasn't salmon and ground turkey, it was steak, sirloin steak. It was ribeye. It
Oh,
kind of felt like I was in a carnivore diet mixed in with a little keto sort of thing.
and how many vegetables would you have a day?
I was eating a lot of vegetables, Brussels sprouts, broccoli. So for lunch and dinner, I was making sure I was eating vegetables, or even breakfast. A lot of vegetables, a lot, because in these diets, vegetables are something that are whole food that help you with that nutrition and making sure that you're full. I would sometimes have vegetables and just meat and a piece of avocado.
Great. Okay, so those are all things. And then how often would you have the juice, Maggie? Did you do the juice every day?
Yes, I'll have the juice twice a day, either with breakfast, with lunch, or with dinner, or sometimes just as a snack.
So you would alternate the prune juice, or you would have and how much of that would you drink?
It would be just a glass, because I actually juiced it.
A big glass or?
Um, Probably like 8 ounces. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. So you juiced your own prune juice and pineapple juice, and is that
Not
what?
the prune juice. I juiced the pineapple, the ginger juice, the apples with celery, but the pomegranate and the prune I bought store bought. I went to Whole Foods and I bought. And then one of the things that the intended parents were very focused on was my nutrition. So they were going to stipend me money monthly to make sure I was focused on that nutrition and eating whole foods. So I was like,
Oh,
let me start now. Let me not wait until, that happens.
yeah, no, that's all fantastic. And did you give up coffee or did you still drink coffee?
No, I gave up coffee. In that
Okay.
time period, I gave up coffee and just drank tea.
And drank your tea. Okay, fantastic. And how much water do you normally did you drink or do you
I drink
drink?
a lot of water throughout the day just because I work from home. So I normally have like these tumblers kind of, I have it in every color. So I use, I don't know, I used to teach. So when I feel like when you're a teacher, you just color coordinate with your glasses and your cups and your outfits, you know? So I go three, four of those jugs a day and I drink as I'm working. I try to switch my position in working. I have a desk downstairs, I have a desk upstairs.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your digestion because you mentioned some complaints or some challenges with your digestion.
Yes. So in that time period, my digestion was great. I was having bowel movements two to three times a day, you know? But now I
Was
feel
it
like
loose or was it full? Was it how was it?
some was loose, some was full, but I've noticed when I was eating breakfast, my metabolism was running faster and it was just a flow. It was just I reached like this flow state with my digestive system and to be honest, I fast a lot and I go through periods of time where I do fruits, vegetables, whole grain fast
Hmm.
throughout the year. So when I get to that place, I see my bowel movements completely do a 180. And when I stopped all that, like once the embryo didn't, I stopped the whole thing. I was like, you know what? I did all this eating, all this diet. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to listen to my body. I stopped eating breakfast. I would have a toast with butter and some coffee, which is not really all that great sometimes because your metabolism is like, I feel like it's like, help. Like we were doing so good. So
Yeah.
now I'm not in the same position with my nutrition that I was the last couple months of the end of the year where I was preparing for embryo transfer. So now definitely there is complaints because I see a difference in my eating. So I know my bowel movements are not and my digestive system are not in the same place. Not to be TMI, but in all honesty, that's the truth, you know.
Yeah.
So I know it has a lot to do with my eating habits now, you know.
So your digestion is good. You said you get a little bit heavy, cloudy headed. Is that happening now too?
It does. It does.
Okay. And is how's your sleep?
It's not really that great.
Okay. What does that mean? Tell me about that.
I feel like I'll get a good 5 hours of like REM sleep, a good 5 hours of deep sleep, but then my body just wakes up 5 in the morning and I'll just like, I'm gonna pray and meditate because I'm like, I don't know why else I'm awake. And then it's hard for me to go back to sleep. So I'm just like, okay. And I go to sleep decent at a decent time. I'm
What
sleeping by
time?
9, 10 p.m. sort of
Okay.
thing.
So your sleep sounds like it's good. What's not good with your sleep in your mind?
I don't know. I feel like because of the transitions of things I'm going through in life right now, I'm just tossing and turning a lot. I'm waking up in the middle of the night. So I definitely know that when it comes to preparing for the next embryo and making sure my nutrition is good, my sleep is good, and my body is not on flight or fight mode, sort of say, you know?
Right, right. Definitely, that's really important. So, but if you're getting 5 hours of deep sleep, that's really good. Are you measuring that, or how do you
I mean, just from what I see, I'm like, okay, it's 5 a.m., I'm up, or it's 4 a.m.
oh, so you're not measuring it with like a device, like when a wearable, you're just going by how you feel, just for
Right,
clarity.
right, right.
But you're so you wake up feeling rested, or do you wake up feeling tired?
I have my days. I have my
Right.
days. Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm exhausted mentally and sometimes physically, or sometimes I'm well rested. But I just, like I said, I know if I'm on top of things and I'm cautious about my sleep and my nutrition, I wouldn't have these results.
So you have a lot of great things going on. You have a lot of awareness. You have some really great routines, like with the meditation, and you're trying to get water in, and you're really being mindful and your sleep. So these are all really, really great things. I want to just kind of backtrack a little bit to talk about the juice because um, even though you're juicing yourself and you're buying, that is a lot of sugar, a lot of
Mhm.
sugar. So, I would definitely take that out.
Wow.
Yeah. So when you're juicing, like like sugar is inflammatory, right? And when we eat a fruit, it's very different than when we're juicing the fruit because we lose the fiber that helps
Mm.
balance the blood sugar. So we have to be really careful. So when we're juicing, I like to do maybe the green juices and beets. Beets are really great because of the nitric oxide in the beets. So
Okay.
I like that you're doing the red foods for the nitric oxide, the pomegranate, that thing. So but beets are going to be really great. Also high in sugar. So I wouldn't juice too much. But when you're juicing, just do like one beet, when you in there, and then you can put a lot of green. So or in a, even bless you, some
Thank
celery
you.
or whatever that may be. But we want to, the sugar level is inflammatory. So we think we're doing something good for our body, but we're actually creating an imbalance. Does that make sense?
That's 100%.
Yeah. So I'd rather you switch to eating those foods. Like if you want to eat a pomegranate, awesome. That's fantastic. Eat the pomegranate. If you want to have a little bit of pineapple in the morning with your breakfast, fantastic. That's fine. And the prune juice, maybe you only need to eat one, two,
Right.
maybe three prunes, right?
Right.
And prunes is mostly for, helping you eliminate, have a good bowel movement. So that's the big piece that I'm seeing here. The other
Okay.
thing is, I like the idea of you switching, that you're trying to eliminate or limit your dairy. So that's fantastic because that's also very inflammatory. Um, but oat milk is not the best source of an alternative because of, again, of the sugar in the oat milk. So I know it's been marketed to be, really great, but it's not. So another source would be, an almond milk or coconut milk or cashew milk or macadamia nut milk or, play. There's so many different fun alternatives out there. And then when you do have the dairy, if that's something that you have a little bit of, I usually recommend we limit it to like 3 servings a week, um,
Mm.
at the most. So because of that, not just for inflammation, but it also has other properties that help that age us. So we really want to keep it down. But I would recommend that you do a full fat dairy just in case, ideally in most situations to kind of help balance that inflammation out and decrease on the processing of pulling out all the fats. Does that make sense?
100%. And
Yeah.
what would you recommend for someone preparing for an embryo transfer is aside from whole foods and making sure that they're focused on non-inflammation, sources. I know you said acupuncture was something that you would recommend. And you mentioned that you specialize in Chinese medicine. What else would you give tips for someone doing embryo transfer?
So we usually recommend and doing acupuncture for sure. Castor oil packs are great up until the day before the embryo transfer, if you ever do a castor oil pack. Right. And then it comes down to the things that you were talking about. There's supplementation, which we didn't dive into yet, we'll get into. There's your eating habits, there's your sleep, there's keeping your nervous system calm. You're a very positive, high energy person, so that's really helps and supports you. You can just feel how much love you have. So that's all very supportive. All those things are really important, right? And keeping that going. So doing things that help you calm your mind, like you talked about, there's some challenges that you're going through. Some days, for all of us, are better than others. And, what do you need right now to support you through that? So tell me a little bit about that. What is something that you could use right now to help support you during this challenging time?
That's really awesome. To be honest, I feel like I've developed a lifestyle to really sit down and meditate and pray.
Mhm.
That just the other day I was praying and meditating, and I was like, it's so second nature to me that I have to be mindful to be present. Um,
Mm,
and then it reminded me just to be present in everything I do. Just
mhm.
be present. Like right now, I'm in this meeting with you. I'm here. let's be present here, not think of the to-do list or what I have to do after this or tomorrow. And in my praying, it was ironic, but it was like just be here. Just be here. And sometimes it's not even speaking, sometimes it's just listening. So
Mm.
I'm trying to be very intentional this year with listening and being more quiet, which is new for me because I'm a yapper.
And it's a beautiful thing, but it's good to have both for sure. It's definitely good. Um, okay, so then are you saying when you're more mindful and present, those are the things that you need right now to support you through this difficult time? Because you're already doing the meditation and the praying, which is very supportive. So is that your next step is just continuing to be mindful and present? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. All right. So, and then what are you doing to help yourself kind of check in and make sure you're present?
Just grounding myself. I have a little backyard area. You can probably see it through this window right here, where I have a sign that says porch therapy. Sometimes
That's cute. I love
I
it.
sit and I sit there, and sometimes it's in quiet, sometimes it's with the audio in the back, or just music that calms me, and I'm just grounded at that moment. And I even though I work from home, I think it's very important for anyone that works at home is taking those mental breaks. Like, okay, we just did 3 hours of crazy work. Let's go take a mental break for 20 minutes and be present in that so that you can be present in the next task.
Mhm.
So grounding myself is definitely something that when you're intentional, I feel like it comes so easy and it's a breeze.
Yeah, beautiful. What do you think that you need most? Where do you need the most support as you're getting ready for this transfer, emotionally, physically, spiritually? Where do you need the most support?
Well, I'm a firm believer in mentorship. I feel like I am who I am today because I've had the right mentors in my life. And in the midst of whatever transitions personally I go through, I can pick up the phone and say, I'm having a crazy week, a crazy month. And those reminders of like, this is who you are, you got this, you're meant for this, don't let these things sway you, is what keeps me going. And I feel like that accountability really helps me throughout all the seasons of my life, to the point where when I saw your information, I'm like, this is amazing, not just with learning like fertility information, but just like that coaching and that accountability that a lot of women right now, to be honest, yearn.
Mm,
And right now, I just got hired to Road to Baby, the agency, as a outreach coordinator. And
awesome.
my job is to create that community and
Mm,
create that atmosphere where I'm showing women you're not alone in this.
yeah,
And I feel like partnering with women like you will help those type of women understand like these resources are available to us if we just put ourselves in a position to really learn and listen. And personally for me, I feel like matching with someone that I know can keep me accountable and just speak life into me when I'm going through whatever seasons I'm going through is really important. And it grounds you. It helps you grow. When you can receive constructive criticism, when you could be told from love, like, you're not right, like, you're thinking of this all wrong. And that's something that I really take a lot of, I value so much because it's admirable for someone else to put themselves in a position to say, hey, let me partner with you and just tell you, like, let's do life together or let's do this season together to show you that you're not alone. And I feel like that's what this community has shown me, that I am not alone. I've heard so many stories of women in my inbox, in my messages. Mind you, I don't have a big following, but it's enough women to tell me, you're not alone. You got this. If you want to do it again, this is my experience. This is my story. So now I want to spotlight these women's stories. I want to show other people that we are all in a similar boat where sometimes we feel defeated, sometimes we feel amazing, sometimes we feel both. And
right.
it's important for me to advocate for these women that are looking to go into surrogacy and that are in it already. And that's really something that I take pride in, is mentorship, and to be able to show other women you can do this too. I'm
Yeah.
rich. I'm rich if I can do that.
I love that. So it sounds like what I heard you say is that you need someone that you can be accountable to help kind of unpack things. You didn't use those words, but help you go through the season of wherever you're at and remind you of who you are. And also part of that piece is, which is seems like so in alignment with you, is giving back and advocating for women. You're serving as part of your job. And that seems like that's also going to help you just kind of step into your strength and your power, and then you're serving, which feels good for you. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. In other words, I love it. It's right
Aw-
on.
Awesome. Awesome. I love what you're doing. I love that you're going to be sharing stories and empowering women because yeah, so they do, as you know, feel alone in this journey, and they're not for sure. So, but it's a true feeling, and we just want to help shift that, open up their
No, yes, yes.
eyes.
And a lot of agencies are so big and broad that when you become a surrogate, it's like, these are the steps, this is what you do. But Road to Baby really prides themselves in community. Like they want to make sure you feel seen and you feel supported. So they have the monthly Zoom meetings for all women that are in this journey to meet. They have in-person meetings in California. Hopefully we do it in Florida soon, where they are like, hey, we have, like, just yesterday they had a lunch. They're like, we're gonna pay for your lunch, come with your family, let's meet and connect. And to see how personable they are and how much they align with my values and my personality, I'm like, how can I not support this? Because they supported me so much when the
Yeah.
embryo failed. They all checked in on me. Staff members that I didn't even know were like, hey, we heard what happened, and this was my story. I got two embryo failed, transfer, and I did it again, and then I had twins, and this and that. And I'm just like, this is amazing. Like, they
Yeah.
pride themselves in community, and if I can highlight what they already are doing, I feel like I'm on the right path. And I do say everything, the stars are always aligning. This is my motto in life. Stars are always aligning. Because when you pay attention to how things align in your life, I feel like it's not just coincidence. Like, this job didn't just land on my lap. The day that my dog passed away, not to be trauma dumping, but my dog of 15 years passed away, I felt like I lost a child. And my
Mm.
case coordinator that same hour was like, would you ever consider working for Road to Baby? Like, my whole life flashed before my eyes because I saw it. Everything I'm doing now, I envisioned it. This was alignment. And I feel
I
like the work that you're doing is alignment. It helps other women get in alignment with themselves.
I do. I feel so blessed to do what I do. I've been doing it for over 24 years. This is my baby, I say. This is my baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
honor you in that. That's amazing. That's amazing. You should be very
Thank
proud of yourself.
Thank you. I feel very, very honored, very blessed. So Maggie, circling back to you, so it seems like you have it dialed in on what you need to support you and making sure that you, um, keep the mindset, feel good and confident about going into your next transfer. So share with me, what did you get out of our session today?
It was a good reminder.
Mm,
It was a good reminder that the stars are always aligning, and just to do what I know to do is probably what I got from this. Like, get back to Maggie, get back to that shift, because I am in transition of moving. So that itself is a transition. And no matter
mhm.
what transitions, we go through as women, it's always going to shake something in our lives. Sometimes remove things in people or add things in people. And that can be scary and uncomfortable in itself. And nobody likes when you're uncomfortable. Like, but then at the end of the day, something my dad taught me was, it's good that you're uncomfortable, because then that means you're growing.
Growing, exactly.
And I think just talking about this with you and putting myself in this position, showed me like talking is so powerful at the same time as listening. So being able to express myself and just even speak about the things that I did to prepare for embryo transfer, like, I did that.
Yeah, yeah, you did.
I did everything I could. So this was a good reminder. It really was, Denise. And I deeply appreciate, because if you can just remind a woman who she is, you're
Mm,
rich.
mm.
I'm gonna do one of these, what we're doing nowadays.
I'm glad that was a good reminder. And what are some of the action steps that you're going to take away that you're going to start doing?
I'm gonna focus on my nutrition and my sleep.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. And serving. You're
And
serving. Yeah. And and will you are you open to eliminating those juices and having more whole food fruits instead?
100%. And you know what's funny? My mom is organic. Me and my sister call her organic freak because she is the queen of everything has to be organic, from the syrup to the condiments to the everything. But
Yeah.
now as a parent and a woman, I understand. So she actually told me like there's a lot of sugar in this. And I'm like, but mom, I'm doing something good.
Yeah.
So, listening to your parents sometimes takes you a long way. And it's funny, she's gonna say, like, you had to hear it from someone else to really listen, but it was a
Sometimes you
reminder.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a reminder that she mentioned it to me, and it really is true. Like, I didn't think of all the sugar I'm putting in my body. Even buying, I was so prideful in buying like the juices that were mixed, like the ginger and the beet and the pomegranate, and I'm just like, oh my God, look at the
Stuff. It's
sugar.
all good stuff. Yeah.
I didn't even go and look at the labels and the sugar. I was just like, this is from Whole Foods. This is from Sprouts. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So many people do that. So I'm so glad you brought that up because I can promise that somebody watching this thought the same thing you did. So that's really, really important. So thank you.
Yeah, so I think we need to be mindful in what we're putting in our bodies. So that's
Yeah.
something I'm going to definitely check myself, because if we know better, we'll do better.
Awesome. That's for sure. We have a couple more minutes, Maggie. Are you taking any supplements?
Yes. So I actually just recently did research that I used to take all my vitamins in the morning, a handful of vitamins. Another thing I was prideful in. And not to be the one, but I'm going to be the one. ChatGPT was like, no, there are certain
Yes.
times in the day that you're supposed to take these supplements. And I have a list here I just want to share, because the morning time and the evening and the afternoon, very different in when you're supposed to take your supplements. And aside from zinc, aside from iron, aside from multivitamins, I take CoQ10 for my hair growth. There are just sometimes that you're supposed to take these vitamins and sometimes that you're not. And listen, when you're doing research, ChatGPT is really good, because
Yeah.
according
AI is amazing. You still have to be careful though. It's not
have to
perfect
be
yet,
careful.
but it is amazing. Yes.
Okay,
I,
here we are. So the timing of your supplements is important, like magnesium and L-theanine, if I'm not mistaken, is
L-theanine.
best before bed. Multivitamin, yes.
Yeah, because those
L-theanine,
Mhm.
theanine.
Theanine. Yeah.
I would take all of these in the morning. Like, oh, I'm gonna have a great
Well,
workout day. What are we doing?
you could take it in the morning. It really comes down to what your goals are, right? So, just to be a little devil's advocate here, it really comes down to because L-theanine is a great
Okay.
antioxidant. It helps you focus, right? It's in green tea, right? So it's really great to help you focus. So green tea is
Mm,
amazing because it has a little bit of caffeine, not too much, to kind of get you going. And then it has the L-theanine, which is calming and kind of helps you focus and zone in. So it really depends on the goals. And magnesium, yeah, I definitely recommend taking it at night, but if some people could benefit from morning and night. But we have to be careful
okay.
not to mix it with too many supplements because that is one that can bind to other nutrients, right? And not allow it to absorb.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
But yeah,
then,
but you're right. I just wanted to throw that in there as an
yeah, sure.
mhm,
Okay.
little
The
more gut.
multivitamin, CoQ10, iron is great with a big meal, like lunch, ideally. Sea moss and probiotic is good in the morning.
Are you doing CMOS?
I'm a big fan of sea moss.
You are.
I have sea moss with black seed oil. It is gross, but I feel like it gives me so much energy.
Really?
but it's just really bad. If you just do sea moss like straight with no flavor, I don't mind that. The texture is a little weird, but I really don't mind that.
Okay.
I was taking zinc. I was already doing the multivitamin B12, just to make sure my energy was not bad, just once or twice a week, making sure I had good electrolytes. Like, so instead of doing pre workout, I was doing honey and salt, sea salt, if I needed like that extra boost and the extra dose before working out. And probiotic, prebiotic, making sure that I had that gut health, nutrition, absorption. That's about it.
Awesome. So, what about fish oil?
Fish oil is really good. I actually have it in an oil. It's a fish oil that I give my son a lot of tinctures. He's not vaccinated, so I give him vitamins every day. So
Great.
fish oil is there's one that comes fish oil with lemon. I give him that. Sometimes I take that as well.
Great. So that's going to be really important to make sure that you're
Mhm.
continuing to take. So a high quality fish oil, probably one that you're taking like refrigerated liquid is, but depending, you really want to make sure it's quality. But we want to do that. It helps with fertility. It helps every cell in your body, heart health, brain health, all those things. It's good that your son's on it. It's really good for his brain. So, yeah, so fish oil I would add in there. And then vitamin D.
Vitamin D.
Yeah, which brings me to like, when's the last time you had blood work done and had that tested?
It's been a long time because it's different when you go do ultrasounds and blood work to prepare for this. It's
Right? They're
different when
just
you
checking the
see.
hormone.
Yes, I haven't done that in a long time. I think that's something I should do some research in for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely do some labs and check your just to double check your t total iron too, so we can check your iron saturation, your iron, and your ferritin levels, making sure that you're good on your iron and it's actually absorbing into your body. But vitamin D is going to be really important. It's really important for implantation.
Awesome. Okay.
We want to make sure, and almost everybody, unless you're taking it, is deficient in vitamin D because we're not out in the sun. And when we are, we usually have a sunscreen or fully covered, right? So, I mean, I know you're in Florida, but here in California, I'd say 90% of my clients are deficient. So just something, let's just check it. So we can check that
Right.
box off and rule that out. Okay. So vitamin D. And then I always recommend a B complex instead of a B12.
Okay.
So I would just swap that out because the reason is you don't usually want to take B12 by itself. You want to take you really want to take all of them so you have more of the balance, right, and of the nutrients, if that makes sense. Trying to keep you.
B12. Okay. So instead of a B12, B complex.
Mhm. Yeah, so I would add the fish oil, vitamin D, and swap that B12 out. And then check your vitamin D levels and your iron. Yeah, get that checked.
Great idea. It's a great idea.
So there you go. So those are some things you did an amazing job last time, but now here's a couple things that you can do a little bit better for next time for your health and
Sure.
for the transfer.
Sure. I'm excited. I really am excited. I feel like this experience now is going to work differently. I feel like the embryo is going to stick. And even if it doesn't, I know I did everything I can and everything else is out of my control.
Yes, 100%. 100%. As long as you're doing all the things you can, then we just have to surrender to, as you say, the stars align. I say everything's always working out for me. So
Nice.
I love what you're saying. The stars are aligned. Yes, the stars align how they're supposed. That's beautiful. I love it.
Right.
I
Right.
love it. Yeah. All right, Maggie. So your action steps, one more time to review because we just added a couple more things. Let's go ahead. I
Yeah.
want to make sure you know your action steps.
So we're going to get some labs done.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that I am good on fish oil, vitamin D, and B complex, switching it out from B12. And then here we have um, sticking to my routines, meditation, taking out juicing, making sure I'm mindful on my intake when it comes to sugar, and focus on my nutrition and my sleep.
All right. You got a plan there. I hope
Yeah,
you
and serving and serving.
serve.
Table
Yes,
serving.
you got to do that because that's where your heart is. And when we serve, that's when we feel the best, right? That's
Yeah.
one of the things I'll recommend to people who are in a funk. One of the fastest
Mm,
ways to get out of it is to serve.
that's amazing. That's a good idea. I love that.
Yeah.
That's
So
a
good.
fact. It's fulfilling. It's fulfilling.
It
And
really,
philanthropy work in itself, like there's always work. If you really just look into your community and try to pour in, it helps you pour out, you know? So that's amazing. I love that.
yeah. So good. So is this helpful for you?
This was Denise. I really appreciate it. And what would we able to recommend other women that want to do coaching with you? You know, I know that on your page and your site, you do have that opportunity available for other women that are looking to plug in as well.
Yeah, I love doing the coaching. It's my passion. So
Okay, I love
yeah,
that.
I
That's
love that. So
awesome.
yeah, I'd love to connect with your company. I really admire you as a surrogate, and now you're working for this company because you're just, I was even through the paperwork, I was like, literally, it was like, wow, how lucky are these intended parents to have her as their surrogate? I mean, to really just care so much and really want to do your best. I was inspired by you. So
Thank you.
I feel really grateful that we got to meet.